All right, today we're going to dive into one of the biggest, most fundamental questions out there. How does life, well, make more life? It's this incredible process that, funny enough, isn't about keeping any single one of us alive, but it's absolutely essential for making sure our entire species doesn't just, vanish.
And, it's a really fair question. I mean, think about it, right? All the other major life processes like nutrition and respiration, that's what keeps an individual going day to day. So why on earth would any living thing pour so much time and energy into reproduction?
Well, the answer is both incredibly simple and pretty profound. Without reproduction, any given species, I don't care if it's a bacterium or a blue whale, would just be gone. After one generation, that's it. Lights out. It's the ultimate long-game survival strategy. So, to really get how life makes more of itself, we have to start with the instruction manual. We've got to look at the code that tells a living thing what to be and how to build itself in the first place.
And that blueprint, of course, is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. It's packed into the nucleus of a cell, and it is literally the master plan for everything. It's got the information for building your body, for making proteins, for all the features you inherit. Which means the most basic, most fundamental event in all of reproduction is making a copy of that blueprint.
Let's start with the simplest strategy out there, life's most direct approach. Just make an exact copy, a clone. This whole category of reproduction is called asexual reproduction.
Think of this first method, fission, as life's original copy machine. A single-celled organism like this amoeba just grows a little, duplicates its DNA, and then literally splits right down the middle. One becomes two. Simple, fast, and incredibly effective.
Then you've got another cool method called budding. Here, a whole new individual starts to grow right off the parent's body, almost like a little bump or a bud. You can see it here on this hydra. This little outgrowth develops, and when it's ready, it just pops off and starts its own independent life.
Now, spore formation is a truly brilliant survival tactic. Organisms like this bread mold, Rhizopus, release thousands of these tiny, tough little packages called spores. And their secret weapon is a thick wall that protects them from pretty much anything. Heat, dryness, you name it. They can just hang out, dormant, waiting for the perfect moment to spring to life.
And the list just keeps going. There's fragmentation, where an organism like Spirogyra can just break into pieces, and each little piece grows into a whole new one. And of course, in the plant world, we have vegetative propagation. Think about growing a new potato plant from a potato or a new rose bush from a cutting. Life has found so many clever ways to make clones.
Okay, so making perfect copies seems so simple and so efficient, right? It raises a huge question. Why did life ever bother inventing a different, way more complicated way to reproduce? Why not just stick with cloning? The answer, believe it or not, lies in imperfection. As this quote points out, no chemical process is 100% perfect. And that means when DNA gets copied, there are going to be some small variations, some little errors each time. And these tiny mistakes create something unbelievably powerful: variation.
To really see why this matters, let's play out a little scenario. Imagine a population of bacteria. They're living the good life in some temperate water. They're perfectly suited to their environment. They're niche, as biologists call it. Everything's stable, they're thriving.
But then the environment changes, and it changes fast. Let's say global warming causes the water temperature to suddenly spike. Their perfect home is now becoming a death trap.
So what happens? For the vast majority of those bacteria, the ones with the original DNA, this heat is a death sentence. The population gets wiped out. But what about those few individuals that, by pure random chance, had a little copying error, a variation that just so happens to make them resistant to heat? For them, this disaster is a golden opportunity. They survive, they reproduce, and soon the whole population is made up of their descendants. And that is why variation is absolutely crucial for the long-term survival of a species.
So asexual reproduction creates this life-saving variation, but it does it slowly and totally by chance. But what if life could figure out a way to speed up the process? A way to intentionally shuffle the genetic deck and create new combinations with every single generation? Well, this is where sexual reproduction comes onto the scene. By combining DNA from two different individuals, you get new combinations of traits way faster. But this presents a huge logistical problem. How exactly do you combine two sets of DNA without creating a complete genetic mess? I mean, it's a simple math problem, right? If you just take the full DNA from parent 1 and add it to the full DNA from parent 2, the offspring is going to have double the DNA it needs. And that genetic overload would be a total disaster for the new cell. It just wouldn't work.
Nature's solution to this is nothing short of elegant. Life evolved a way to create special reproductive cells, we call them germ cells or gametes, that only carry half the amount of DNA. So now you take a half set from parent 1, a half set from parent 2, you put them together, and voila, you get one complete, correct set of DNA. Problem solved.
So now that we've got that core concept down, this idea of combining half sets of DNA, let's take a look at how this powerful strategy actually plays out in some more complex organisms that we see all around us.
Let's start with flowering plants. In a flower, you have the stamen, which is the male part that produces pollen, and you have the pistil, the female part that holds the ovule. The first step is just getting that pollen from the stamen to the pistil, a process we call pollination. Once that happens, the two germ cells can fuse, and that's fertilization. After that, this amazing transformation kicks off. The ovule becomes a seed, and the ovary that surrounds it develops into a fruit.
And what about us? Well, for humans, our bodies first have to mature and get ready for this complex process. As our general body growth starts to slow down, our reproductive tissues kick into high gear and begin to mature. We all know this period, of course. It's called puberty.
And we develop two highly specialized systems. The male reproductive system is basically designed to produce and deliver sperm. The female reproductive system, on the other hand, is designed not only to produce eggs, but also, and this is crucial, to nurture a developing embryo.
The whole process is just a remarkable series of events. It all begins when one sperm fuses with an egg, creating a single new cell called a zygote. That zygote then develops into an embryo and implants itself in the lining of the uterus. From there, an amazing life support tissue called the placenta forms, providing nourishment from the mother's blood for about 9 months, until the baby is finally ready to be born.
So when you really step back and look at it, from a single cell splitting in two, all the way to the incredible dance of human reproduction, it's really evolution's greatest story. It's a journey of copying, of variation, and of combination that ensures life continues, constantly adapting over time. And that just leaves us with one last, big question. What will its next chapter look like?